let's just jump right into it here. Because yesterday, when we had John Smoltz, Baseball Hall of Famer, on this program, and I said to him, if you could take every Major League Baseball team and rank them 1 through 30 in terms of the team needing the baseball god's help to have a glove malfunction just at the right time to help them avoid an inning-ending double play in the first game of the year to spark an 8th-inning rally to win the game. If anybody needs that help the least in Major League Baseball, to have the baseball gods put their thumb on the scale, it would be the Los Angeles Dodgers. And we're like, ha, 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 isn't that crazy? Because Ohtani, in his first game as a Los Angeles Dodger, got an RBI single. He got 2 runs batted in his first game, and the Dodgers win. And they did have Jake Cronenworth's glove explode to help them. And, but Smoltz is like, anything can happen, though, Rich. It's a long season. Anything can happen. Didn't think the anything would be Shohei Ohtani having $4.5 million of his money wind up in the hands of a Southern California bookmaking operation that's under federal investigation. Didn't see that one coming. But that was the story from ESPN.com.
Not on the bingo card.
Tisha Thompson with a mind-blowing story that just lit everything up yesterday. And I had to read this story 3 times to make sure I got it right. Because the way it seems is that ESPN caught wind of this federal investigation being churned through and Ohtani's name being on 2 receipts that ESPN put their eyes on with his name on it, each of them for $500,000 that wound up in the hands of this Southern California bookmaker whose house was raided in October of last year. And in all, $4.5 million went from Ohtani's account to this operator. And they reached out to an Ohtani spokesman or spokesperson who said that, Ohtani was just covering the debts incurred by his interpreter, who he's been tight with forever and a day, who everybody says they have more than just an interpreter and person who needs that craft. They have a brotherhood. They're tight. They've known each other for years. And Mizuhara was the one who was gambling. And they, in fact, the spokesperson for Ohtani presented Mizuhara to Tisha Thompson for a 90-minute interview Tuesday in which he laid it all out. He gambled. He's terrible at gambling. He did not gamble on baseball because he knows he can't do that because he's an MLB employee. He was an employee of the Angels organization at the time for Ohtani, and is now, or was now, a member of the Dodgers organization. So he knows he's not to do that, but thought, everything else was on the up and up. He met this bookie at a poker game in San Diego in late 2021. And he's already been betting on DraftKings, and this is all got to be on the up and up. But he just was terrible at it, and he was chasing, and he got in a deep hole to the point where he went to his buddy, and he's like, this is what's going on. And his friend is like, what the hell are you doing? Essentially, I'm just paraphrasing here. The story is that he had Ohtani bail him out, and Ohtani's like, I will do it. And Thompson asked Mizuhara, why didn't Ohtani just give you the money and you pay off the bookie? Why is he doing it from his computer? Why is he doing it, wiring it from his account personally? Why is he putting the word loan associated in the space that I guess that you provide the details of your wire? Put the word loan in there. And Mizuhara said it's because the bookie said you got to write something down. Just write down loan. And Ohtani apparently was the one who personally paid off these debts from his account and didn't give the money to his interpreter because the interpreter said Ohtani didn't trust him with the money because he was afraid that he would just take that money and gamble it away to try and dig out of the hole himself.
I mean, okay.
And I guess all of this stuff does seem to square because you look at Ohtani, you don't think like this guy. Honestly, you never know anything about anybody anymore.
True, yeah.
But, you know, you don't look at him and say, oh, he is definitely locked in on the over-under on that NBA game or he's locked in.
We've never heard him speak.
That's the other point, too.
And how does someone like that does that look?
You just don't know anything about anybody anymore.
Yeah.
So that's the story told to ESPN. Now, here's the twist. It does appear ESPN then went back to the spokesperson who provided the interpreter for this interview and provided the information to the spokesperson who had already said this was about Ohtani covering the debts of the interpreter. They went back and said, okay, we'd like some comment. And I guess they must have contacted Ohtani or whomever. Somebody contacted a law firm because out comes the statement Wednesday that Ohtani was just flat out robbed of $4.5 million by the interpreter. And so there's that.
Wow.
So there is that. And it's just like, well, which one is it? Ohtani was the good guy who covered the debts? Or Ohtani was the victim who got robbed? And why is there a story that's changed? Like, I don't get that. And how is Ohtani a victim of someone he was robbed when on opening day Tuesday he's just chit-chatting with his interpreter like nothing's ever happened? I guess he learned overnight he got $4.5 million was missing? Or that $4.5 million he thought somebody else maybe in his orbit spent was robbed and given to somebody in Southern California? Or is it, you know, somebody in Ohtani's orbit kind of told Shohei that, hey, you're a good guy, but guess what? $4.5 million of your money wound up in the hands of somebody who is a gambler, who's a bookie, and is under federal investigation. Doesn't look good for you, pal. And we need to cover your flank. And suddenly your guy is now a thief. Or, as everybody else in the world, and the way you're looking at me, Chris, because again, you are a man who puts a little of your hard-earned American dollars on this or that or the other thing, that maybe Ohtani is using his interpreter to cover for the fact that he gambled. Which, again, in this day and age,
I can't rule that out.
That you know, nature abhor, or certainly the media or those out there who comment on it, abhors a vacuum. And there's still a vacuum because today Shohei Ohtani did not take reporters' questions after today's game in Korea and was ushered out of the clubhouse by the PR staff. Answered no questions. And I'll just say this. It's a good thing he didn't sign with the Yankees or the Mets or the Red Sox because I don't know how that would work in the Northeast corridor.
Legal in those states.
Well, I guess so too. But this happened,
bro.
But that's not the point.
Yeah.
The point is that Ohtani for the last 6-7 years has not had to answer a single question. Nobody's.
Because nobody really cared.
The only thing, people cared. I care to hear what he. How does somebody do what he does so well, so effortlessly? How does he spend his time? Like, what's he like? Like, that's the sort of stuff.
He got secretly married and just revealed like a week
exactly.
ago.
Then we were talking about that with Smoltz yesterday. That he has like this magic power of just like being able to silo everything out and do his own thing, and everyone just leaves him alone. Well, those days are over.
He stayed largely anonymous.
Those days are over. They're over. And I don't, because this story got changed, man. And that's the thing that completely confuses me. And that I don't understand. Other than the fact, the only way I understand it is somebody basically said to him, hey, you might have been the good guy, but, you know, to use the Goodfellas phrase, the babe in the woods routine is not going to cut it when everybody in this day and age thinks everybody's gambling, and you're personally wiring all this money in the accounts of somebody who might be in jail soon. This is no good. And so it's not good for you. It's not good for the Dodgers. It's not good for baseball. The commissioner might get involved here. And, you know, I don't know the exact rules here. You know, I'm not sure if I know the exact rules of engagement here, where is it like the steroid policy where it doesn't matter if you knew or not? Right. If it's in your system, you pay the price. Like, if doesn't matter if you gambled or not, your money wound up in the hands of an operator who, by the way, according to this story, 100% did not disabuse a single one of his clients of the thought that Ohtani was also a client of his. Didn't say, oh, no, he's just covering his debts for his interpreter who I met in a poker game. Apparently that didn't happen. I don't know.
This is the tip of the iceberg on this story, it feels like.
Well, I even if, but it could be as simple as he was covering the debts for his interpreter friend. But then why couldn't that just, and since that story's already been told to ESPN, how is it just like, oh, by the way, everything that the spokesperson told you, everything that the interpreter made available by the spokesperson told you, everything that you've heard other sources tell you, that he was just being the good guy. No, he was robbed. And here's a statement from a law firm, and then there's Ohtani playing in a baseball game, not speaking afterwards. Oh, and by the way, how anything can happen in a long season. How does Yamamoto, lasting one inning in his debut for the Dodgers, got lit up? He leaves the game after just one inning of work and a 45 ERA, and the Dodgers lose the back end of the two-game stint in Seoul, South Korea, 15-11 to the Padres, and then Ohtani has this hanging over him. And if he's been able to silo everything out, we'll see how he's able to do that. Dodgers don't have to play another game for a while. But this thing's going to marinate.
They come back here and play the Angels, this old team.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Man, this is wild.
But the headline, if I was writing it in New York City, would be...
Oh yeah, what did the post?
Here's what I would. Here's my guess. I have not seen.
Rich, come on.
I haven't seen him either.
Say it ain't show.
Well done, Rich.
You didn't just now come up with that, did you?
Say it ain't show.
That's awesome.
All right, I like that.
Would be the headline, and maybe that's the headline of this opening segment. Say it ain't show. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.